Create citations, I'm going to go up here to this little icon that says tools, click on it, and if I scroll down just a little bit, I'll find something that says citations with two, I think those are quotation marks next to it. I'm going to click on that and a toolbox is going to pop up on the right. You'll notice that it should default to MLA 8th edition. If I hit the little drop down icon, there's also an option to do APA and Chicago. For English classes, especially here at Mount Perrin Christian School, we're always going to use MLA. Technically, at this point in time, there is a 9th edition, and there are some slight differences between MLA 8th and 9th, but they are so small that I think it's okay to just go ahead and use the 8th edition. And then if your teacher tells you to just make those slight changes to be in the 9th edition, again, please follow her instruction and use her discretion. So the first thing I need to do is go ahead and hit Add Citation Source. It's going to pop up with two things that I need to select. The first asks for the source type. If you hit the drop down arrow, you'll notice that there's many options here. Most of you will probably primarily use websites or journal articles or newspaper articles, but it's becoming more and more popular to also use films, TV series, or episodes. And if you're really not sure what to use, you can always use miscellaneous. Any source should be able to be cited through miscellaneous. So I'm going to show you how to do a book, two different websites, and then also two different YouTube videos. When I click on book, I'm now going to say how I accessed it. I have the options of print, website, or online database. I have a printed book, so that's the option I'm going to select. Notice that it will let me search with an ISBN number. You can typically find the ISBN number for a book on the back of it or on one of those first pages that has all that little information that we don't really ever look at unless we're looking to cite the source. So I'm going to go ahead and search with the ISBN number and see if it works. If it does, that'll save me some time. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to manually enter the source, but that's okay. I can show you how to do that as well. Unfortunately, no results were found. Check the ISBN, try again. I'm just going to go ahead and hit cite manually. So now it's going to show multiple fields that I need to enter the information to create the citation. So the first thing it says, first of all, I want to point out right here that it says asterisk means recommended field. If there is an asterisk next to one of the categories, like here we see author, title, publisher, that means that it is your responsibility as a student to look for that information and to enter it. That being said, occasionally you won't actually find that piece of information, so it is acceptable to leave it blank if that information does not exist. However, if you leave too many things blank, it's probably going to put up a red flag to your teacher who's going to check your citation and tell you that it's incorrect if she can find missing information pretty quickly. So with the book in front of me, I actually don't have an author, but notice that there's a drop-down option. An editor is one of my options, and on the front page of the book in my hand, it says General Editor Jake Jackson. So I'm going to go ahead and type in his name. All right, and now I have an editor. I'm going to type in the title of my book. It says that I need a publisher, so I'm going to look for that. Again, often it's on the back or on one of the very first pieces of information. My publisher is Flame Tree Publishing. I need the publication year, which I am looking for right now. It's very close to where the publisher is, and it says 2014. Notice that city, edition, volume, number of volume, short title, there are not asterisks there. Again, if your teacher tells you that you need to put that information, do it. She's the ultimate authority. However, for today, I'm just going to leave that blank since it's not necessarily required. I have as much information as I could find listed here now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this blue button down here that says Add Citation Source. When I do this, it's going to show a citation over here, and it's going to sort of keep it there for me. If I were done, I only have one source and I'm done, I would hit Insert Work Cited. So again, right down here, and this is what it would look like. However, I'm going to have multiple sources, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to add another citation source. This time, I'm going to add a website, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it says that I could search with a URL, which means that I can go to the actual website. I could simply go up here, highlight the URL, and either hit Control C, or I can right click and copy. Control C or copy, same thing. Come back to my document, and I can either right click paste or Control V, and now I've got the URL there, and I'm going to search. It found it for me. It says it found the title, the website title, the date published, the date accessed, the author, and the URL, which is a lot of good information. I'm going to hit continue and just double check, is there anything that it says I might need that is still blank? Now, here's the thing. Typically, you should include a publisher. However, if the publisher is the same as the website title, which in my case it is, you don't have to put it twice, as that becomes redundant. So everything looks good, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Add Citation Source. Now I will notice a second citation that appears right here with all the information that I need. All right, I have another source that's also a website. So I'm going to hit Add Citation Source. Again, go to website. I'm going to see if I could search it with my URL. And it found it, but notice that it is actually missing a few pieces of information. So I can either go to Cite Manually or Continue. If I hit Continue, it's still going to use all the information that it found, but now I need to go back and add the author and title if I can find them. So when I go back to my source, I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. And what I notice is that I don't really have a specific title at the top here, but it does say Greek mythology here. So I'm going to use that as my title because you never want to, you really very rarely want to have a source that doesn't actually have a title. Notice that it doesn't have an author's name, but it does say history.com editors. Because it's a website, we don't want to put something that's not a person's name, so I'm just going to leave that blank. I am going to double check, though, at the bottom that there isn't actually a listed author. Look what I found. This is really cool. It's actually got citation information for me. And it said what I did, that Greek mythology is actually the article title. So that's what I'm going to enter over here for my title. Like I said, I would say that most of the time we do not want to actually put an author who's not a real person. So even though it says right here that the author is the history.com editors, in my classes, I always say to just leave it blank unless it's a human being's name. If it says a group of people, like a company, that might work. But when it says something like history.com editors, or if it has a person's screen name or username, I would say just to leave it blank because it's not really giving good information. Again, be sure to always ask your teacher her preference because at the end of the day, these citations are your teacher's discretion. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave that blank. I'm going to scroll down, see if I can find a publisher, which I can right here. So since I found the publisher, I'm going to add it, especially since I don't have a specific author's name. All right, everything else looks like it's filled in, so I'm going to hit add citation source. And now I have my third source. All right, coming over here, I'm going to show you how to cite a video. All right, so this video right here is actually taken from an episode of the History Channel. So when I cite it, when I add my citation source, I could select a lot of things here, but I'm going to select TV episode because this actually was an episode aired on TV. All right, accessed by. I did not access this from my TV. Instead, I accessed it on a website, which is YouTube. So that's what I'm going to put. All right, and then now I have to just fill in the information manually, which shouldn't be too challenging. So I'm going to come back over and see, can I find a director? I don't really see a director's name. I don't want to scroll through all the comments here. So I'm going to skip that for a moment. Can I find a title? Absolutely. The title of the episode is Secrets of the Greek Gods. So that's what I'm going to type. Wrong source. And then the actual series is called Ancient Discoveries. So that's what I'm going to put over here for series title. Season and episode are the next things that it's asking me for. And I could see here season 3, episode 3. Perfect. So I'm just going to put 3. And then other things I might find is public or production company, published day, published month, published year, and then edition, version, things like that. So I'm going to go back to my video and I'm going to see that it was originally, I know this is here somewhere. All right, it looks like it was published by the History Channel originally on September 29th, 2021. So that's what I'm going to add. I'm going to say the production company is the History Channel, September 29th, 2021. All right, I'm going to skip these because, again, there's no asterisk there. I think I'm okay. Website title is YouTube. And then I am going to put the exact URL. All right, and then I could put the day and month and year of access if I want to. Don't have to unless my teacher says I do. Add citation source. Here is this source now down here.